And we're live here on YouTube. I'd like to welcome those listening in podcast land, and also my buddy Rich. Rich, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, Mike. I survived the first week back from parental leave at work, and I don't know, it was kind of bittersweet. It was nice to be back to work and being back to rhythms, but I missed my afternoon naps and kind of snuggle times
Yeah,
with the
that's the
baby. So
hardest. Yep. Um, yeah, crazy weather week as well as we
hmm
had tornadoes up here early in the week, and then you got tornadoes to end your week. Um,
but we had a pretty good warning, I think, on
yeah,
Wednesday. I think it was.
yeah,
I know it was 2 days. 2 days this week. We had some pretty good warnings where we had to where we came down and chilled in the basement for a little bit
yeah.
and watched the live stream of Channel 6 News to stay informed. Lost power for a little bit last night, for a couple
Ooh,
hours last night.
that's no good. So, what anyway, with that though, hopefully everybody's safe. We are both safe. I don't
hmm
know that like our thoughts go to those in Lena, Illinois, but outside of that, yeah, not a lot going on with that. Um, had a couple birthdays this week. I now have a 5-year-old,
Wow.
and a friend of the show, which we'll talk about later. We'll give a shout out to. Um, had his birthday too. With that, Rich, what are we talking about today?
Well, Mike, we got to make a lot of predictions today as the NFL draft is Thursday night, or at least the first round, which a lot of people, Thursday, Friday, first and second rounds, probably the most interest.
Yeah.
And it's probably we're actually going to be talking the NHL and the NBA probably from week to week until the champion is crowned, as we'll give our picks, pre-playoff picks for the team we'll be following throughout the playoffs. Mike, what else we got?
Well, we got the NASCAR corner along with the MLB. All that and more. But Rich, what's it time to do?
Mike, let's go ahead and roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa. This is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
And we're back. Rich, with that, before we do any of that, it is time to get into the poll question. Rich, poll questions. This week's poll question was tag
Yeah.
versus scooter dodgeball.
Mike, I went with scooter dodgeball in thinking of a. I'm you're going to probably throw this logic right back at me when we talk about the next week's poll question. But in thinking, I don't know if I think of tag as a gym activity. I think of that as more of an outside recess activity. Scooter dodgeball, that was a gym activity for me at least.
Yeah.
So I went with scooter dodgeball. It's more than just being called out because of the ball. You could also be called out if you fell off your scooter. Um, so it was more than just dodging the ball. You had to also find a way to stay on your scooter as well. So I went with scooter dodgeball.
Yeah. Um,
Where
I
did you go,
voted.
Mike?
I voted for tag.
Okay.
Because those little scooters, the problem with the little scooter with scooter dodgeball is you always somebody's toe got run over, foot got run over, somebody like you fell off, you bonked people's heads. It was crazy. Um, and and overall, I when I vote on these, I don't care like I all of them. I just vote how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't vote because I want like I'm not voting because I because one was was in what's it called in gym and one was not. I literally don't care. I just want to make sure that that it's all the same. Like, so I just vote for which one I like more. That's all I do.
Okay. I mean, I think I liked scooter dodgeball more than tag, so
Okay.
as well. So Mike, where did our votes, including our 2 votes, Mike? Which one?
We had
broke the
4
tie?
votes
Okay.
for Scooter Dodgeball. Cody
Okay.
Cooper, Shelby Detar, Matt Borchers, and Rich Hendricks. And we only had 1 vote, me, for tag. So
That's surprising. I was almost expecting it to go the other way.
yeah, I can't explain it, but I'm gonna go with it.
All right, Mike. This week's poll question will be Tug of War, who went with their number 13 seed, and Horse, which was a replacement because we totally forgot about it. I don't remember what the original. So we're gonna go Horse, the original 20 seed. Let me find it. Was Crab Soccer. So we replaced Horse, the game of Horse, instead of Crab Soccer. So
Okay.
that poll is going to go live at 10:30, probably right when we are wrapping up the show.
Sounds good.
All right, Mike, do you see what's on? Tell them where they can find those poll questions, Mike.
If you'd like to take part in those poll questions, you can find them on Facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks or Facebook.com/Balls and Sticks or Rich and Mi's page. We try to share it every week. We also aren't on Facebook a ton, so, have fun.
All right, Mike, what's coming up next, sir?
Is it a left turn, Rich?
It is a left-hand turn.
And after
what's
that,
up next?
Rich, is
It's
another
another
left
left-hand.
turn. Tell them why, sir.
Well, because we're going to go into the NASCAR Corner. The NASCAR Corner is presented by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois, and you can also find them on eBay, Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Mike,
Okay.
last week we were in Bristol at the Last Great Coliseum for the Food City 400. Mike, your pick of Christopher Bell came in 27th. My pick of Ty Gibbs came in first place, so I pick up another 2 points, getting a winner, breaking our tie and putting me ahead by 2. So I have 6-4 going into Kansas. It was Ty Gibbs' first career win, and he picks up a gladiator sword in doing so.
Nice. Man, good stuff there, but also the craziness that's been this season for him. Like, I'm happy that he finally won. I'm happy for the coach that his dad actually,
Grandson.
or his grandson actually did something. Part of me also has issues with the fact that they part of me has issues that where was I? When they bring up his dad. Okay, I understand that it's a big deal that Ty Gibbs' dad died, but it's not the anniversary of it. And yes, it's the first win he's gotten, but whatever win it was going to be would be the first win of Ty Gibbs' career, and it would be, I wish my dad was here. And I'm not, that sounds terrible. That does sound terrible, and I get it. I personally am not and it's like, when did his dad die?
I didn't know his dad had died. My only association with Ty Gibbs was being the
So
grandson,
so
the grandson of Coach Joe Gibbs,
yeah,
and there
Coy.
also being some rumblings about how for a while there they were shifting over resources to make his team better, like getting him the changing over crew chiefs within the Gibbs race shop or pit crews between like him and Denny. I think that happened last year. Where like Denny Hamlin's entire pit crew went over the Ty Gibbs and they switched pit crews to hopefully give Ty a better chance.
So
So I didn't know anything about his dad.
yeah, they made a big deal about it in some of the coverage at times. His dad died in 22. And I'm not saying get over it, but it's different when you're talking about Ty Gibbs being so emotional. This is for my dad. Well, that was 4 years ago, almost.
So you're saying if his dad
Versus-
had died this year and this was his first
Well,
season,
and I'm actually going. You're leading me right into what I was going to say. Denny Hamlin's dad died less than 4 months ago.
mhm.
That is an understanding. Like, you are still early in the grieving process. Don't get me wrong. Everybody grieves, and everybody grieves differently, and all that. I get that. I am not here saying no to that. What I am saying is there is a difference when it's been 4 years versus when it's been 6 months.
So was this the interviewer bringing up how his dad wasn't with him, or Ty saying, "I wish my dad could have seen my first career win"? And
There
this
were a
was-
few. It was more the coverage.
Okay.
I saw a couple different guys, a couple different YouTube like NASCAR YouTubers, plus a couple other plus big name in the industry talking about some stuff. Just talking about how it was like his dad when his dad died, and I'm not saying he's wrong. Like I'm not saying that's not a real thing, but
So was Ty Gibbs even a full-time Cup Series driver in 22 when his dad had passed away? Or was he entering his rookie season like in 23, which would have been the first series,
his
series?
first race was in 22.
Okay. But
As
yeah,
in the
I
Cup
guess, I
Series.
mean,
Like
I know where you're coming from. I think with Ty Gibbs initiating it and throwing it out there, what would be an appropriate comment of, man, I wish my dad was here to see my first win.
and I can
This one's for him, but for the media to keep building on it and talking about it.
yep.
There I can see your point of view is like, that didn't need to be a media narrative over and over again.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it's wrong for you to have those thoughts. I'm not like, but, and I'm not even I'm not saying anybody needs to get over it. I'm not. But the media harping on it, like you said, that's my biggest issue. If the
Okay.
media can do a better job here, and that's where my problem is. So that's all.
All right, Mike. You said pre-show that that Cletus is back on the track, or that you had more to talk about Cletus McFarland. So, Mike, what is that? And then we'll give our picks for the race down in Kansas this weekend.
So Cletus and George are both racing this weekend in the ARCA Series at noon today. So 12:30. I'm sorry, it's 12:30, but 12:30. And Cletus has his in-car camera thing going right at will be on the NASCAR YouTube channel. So you can watch that today at 12:30. It's also going to be aired on FS1.
Okay, an ARCA, which is the fourth
It's
ring down for the Cup Series.
yeah, essentially.
Hmm.
It's the intro class to those just getting in the national organizations. In fact, ARCA itself is two separate.
There's a Western division and an Eastern division.
Right. And they come together occasionally to do some stuff. So that's about it.
Gotcha. And I haven't really gotten any. I was having trouble finding something on this. But when I was on my Facebook last night, I had seen something with the Iowa lottery and the duels at Davenport, and NASCAR Cup Series driver Kyle Larson, of all people, would be coming to the Davenport Speedway to race in this sprint. I don't know if it's a sprint car race or when this race is.
Huh. I don't know anything about this. I literally just Iowa Lottery Duel at Davenport Roto-Rooter Midweek Series, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I was just trying to find something on it to see. All right.
I have not heard anything about this, so
Yeah,
I'm intrigued now.
and I can't get a date here. Or it was old one, but I don't know. It's interesting to me that a Cup Series driver of Kyle Larson's stature would make a one-off would just make a one-off race like this midweek Wednesday. It'd have to be a midweek race. You wouldn't do it on a. It wouldn't be like a Friday night race and then you're going down to wherever the Cup Series race is.
So
Or it
I'm
offers
seeing
that would happen.
June 1st.
Okay. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of, but at the same time, I'll take it. I'm sure there's some sponsorship money coming in that he's walking away, whether he wins the race or not. He's walking away with a good paycheck from a sponsor for him to come all the way to tiny Davenport, Iowa, to race at a speedway.
Oh.
In a sprint car.
And one in Hart. So he's doing two different ones. One on the 1st and 10 days later at the 11th in Harlan, which is like halfway between me and... Oh, no, it's just due south of here. Well, it's not quite due south, but... Yeah, it's pretty close to due south of here. Not of Esterville, but of Milford. It's south of Milford, just north of 80.
Okay. So speaking of Kyle Larson, that's who I'm going to pick for the race here at Kansas this week. Not related. It's just Kyle Larson has a good track history there in Kansas of getting top fives in the Sunflower State. And I got to use my Kyle Larson use sooner or later. So he will be locked in as my 36 for 36 driver this week. Mike, who are you going to go with?
Rich, I'm going to go ahead and take his teammate, Chase Elliott.
All right. So you can catch that race at 1 o'clock over on Big Fox, as Big Fox is using their noggin this week, as they're going to have races back to back, as you can watch the Kansas race at 1 o'clock and then segue that right into the IndyCar race following on Big Fox. You'd think they'd do this more often, Mike, but maybe the start times don't always line up like they do today, like they do this week. Mike, go ahead and take us out of the NASCAR corner.
Rich, this has been the NASCAR Corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on eBay. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Rich, as we keep turning left, let's change from NASCAR to MLB to discuss the Cubs. The Cubs played 2 against the Pirates, 3 against the Phillies, and 1 against the Mets. Overall, they ended up at 4-3 on the week.
Yep, you got it right. Nicely done.
Or 4-2. 4-2 on the week.
4-2, yeah. 4-2 on the week. I said 3 wins. After seeing how badly they lost on Monday, I was surprised that they came out and put up double-digit runs against the Phillies on Wednesday and Thursday, and then did the same against the Mets.
Yeah. But leading the team is Nico Horner, who in the first night let me check because I didn't get his full stat line yesterday. That might be wrong because I did it in the middle of the game yesterday.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Nico Horner leading the team, earning that extension that he signed over the offseason before the season started. Looking like a great investment, and I'm glad the Cubs didn't leave him out hanging in a lame duck, playing out the last year of his contract, like they're doing with Suzuki and Happ right now.
Yeah, 20 RBIs in 19 games.
Wow.
20 RBIs in 19 games. How do you... That's such a good stat line. Man, that's hard to think that you could do anything with that. Like that you couldn't win just massively with that. So,
And isn't he doing it from the leadoff spot as well? They've moved him up to leadoff.
For the most part, it has been. Yeah, he was leadoff. Oh, wait. It might be 21 because he had 2 RBIs yesterday. So it's 21. 21 RBIs in 19 games. So if he keeps that pace up, he will have 179 RBIs on the season. I'd take that.
Yeah.
So, Rich, the Cubs have 2 more against the Mets. Then they go back. They go to Philadelphia.
No, the Phillies come into Chicago.
Wait, they were at Philadelphia. You're right. The Phillies come.
That's what the W stands for. That's what the W stands for in the outline. With
Oh, I thought you were already
Phillies.
predicting 4 wins.
No, 4W with the Phillies.
Yeah. No,
and then the Diamondbacks come into town.
Yeah.
As well.
So with that, I'm going to give them 5 wins. I think they can get 5 wins this week. The Phillies are a tough team, but you're going to be at home. The Diamondbacks or the Mets are struggling still, are struggling right now. So I think at least one more with them. If you get 3 games against the Phillies, I think they can do that. I think they could even sweep the Mets this weekend. I'm not going to say they will, but I think they could. It's hard to sweep a team, but I think they could. So if they sweep them, they split with the Phillies, and then they win the game with the Diamondbacks.
All right. I'm going to go a little bit more conservative. I'm going to go with 4 wins.
Still over 500.
It is.
So I'm here
pitching
for it.
Staff, yeah. The pitching staff is struggling a lot with injuries right now. Is joining starters Cade Horton and Matty Boyd is Danny Palencia, our closer. So I really don't know. I mean, the Cubs haven't faced a save situation since they had to put him on the injured list. So I don't know how the close games. I don't know how the bullpen is kind of like staggered out of who has what assignments for close games. But it seems like I'd like to think that they're probably just going to go with the hot hand and not have a set roles.
Yeah. I can understand that. Okay, so with that, Rich, any other MLB talk before we get into our some of our other topics?
I don't think so. So before we go to the NFL draft, let's give our let's do the closest thing that we do to NBA and NHL coverage, which is give a team that's going to win the cup and the Larry O'Brien Trophy. So, Mike, we'll start with the NBA.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the San Antonio Spurs.
I like that.
They got a good balanced team. Victor Wembanyama gets a lot of great player. Even though I got a dog in the fight now, probably not going to watch much action. Maybe the finals when it gets there, but probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna. I like the Thunder, so I'm gonna pick the Thunder. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, the Thunder going back to back. All right, Mike, over to the ice. Who are you going to go with of who's going to be taking home Lord Stanley's Cup?
I like the Avalanche this year.
Okay.
So.
I'll go with the other conference, and I'll go the Hurricanes.
Ooh, wouldn't it? If those two teams make it.
Uh-huh.
That'd be awesome.
It would be.
I'd watch. Quick question. Do you have a preference on which one will be our lunch bet?
Let's see what the matchup is.
Okay.
Let's see what the matchups are. Because we'll probably
How about
but obviously if it's hockey, if it's the Avalanche Hurricanes, that's definitely going to be our lunch bet, I think.
Okay. I'm down with that.
Since I didn't choose an Eastern Conference team to win it all for the NBA, I think it would be better to go with hockey this year.
Yeah, I can go with that.
All right, and our final quick hit before we go into the draft, the Masters. With golf, Rory McIlroy wins the Masters, becoming the 4th golfer all-time in the tournament to win back-to-back, joining Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. No one has ever three-peated the Masters before, but Rory McIlroy will be going for it next year.
Yeah. I don't think he'll make it, but I would love to see it. So, Okay, with that, Rich. You did. That was a quick hit. Do you want me to do the other quick hit?
Yeah, might as well.
So this week, I was inundated on my Facebook post that there was a big press conference happening with the city of Sioux Falls. Rich, do you have any guesses on what you think it might have been? I mean, I know you know what it is because
I know what it is, but if I had to guess, I would go with there's going to be a new casino coming to town.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. Or a Portillo's or something like that. Like to me, that seems like the type of thing that they would have been doing. Nope. Boxing great, pastor, and the maker of the greatest kitchen appliance known to man. Not the maker, the promoter of.
Yeah.
The greatest kitchen invention known to man, George Foreman, was buried in Sioux Falls.
Yeah. In reading about these, it was all it had to do with he had visited Sioux Falls one time. I don't remember why they said why he was in Sioux Falls that one time, but he was, and he just felt a peace about the place. And he communicated through his family that that's where he wanted to be buried.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's buried there.
Yep.
With an image of him from that Olympic team in '68, the '68 Olympics, is the depiction of him on his tombstone there in Sioux City, Iowa. And I think the article I read, I think it was last night during the power outage, I think also referenced that, that when the family went to bury him this week, they made reference they felt the same type of peace in the city as well. So, Mike, have you ever felt that? You go to Sioux City a lot because
I actually don't go to Sioux Cities. I haven't been to
don't?
Sioux. I've been to Sioux City once, and that was when I went and worked there. No, I actually don't. Sioux City. I've been there a couple times, but no, Sioux City to me is not that peaceful. There are a lot better places I like, but that's okay. Next time you come up, maybe we take a trip if we have a day that we can just do it. Maybe we go visit George.
We might have to. See if we get that same type of peace.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to see.
All right, Mike. Last thing to wrap up the show before going into some shout outs and reminding people where to find the episodes.
Yeah.
The NFL draft.
Yeah.
And Mike, as I was telling you when I was trying to put together a top 10, this seems to be a very odd, uninspiring draft this year.
This is a big uglies draft. This is a just make your team better. This isn't we're gonna get a game changer. We're just gonna make our team better this year. I also think this might be an old school draft, as I would call it. By old school draft, I don't know that we're gonna see more than a couple guys make it in the NFL this year. Make it all the way to the NFL this year.
I think they will. I mean, I think of this week. This is a draft of good players, but maybe not great generational players. At least on the surface level. I don't know if I see any game-changing generational talents in this draft like we have in the past drafts, and even going with how far down the Bears are, I don't even know how to predict who the Bears are going to select with as far down as they are.
Yeah, I am real confused at this point, and I don't know what we're going to end up doing. I'm planning on still, I was like, do I invite the guys over? Because every year I invite a couple guys over to watch the draft, and we'll sit and we'll have a beer and blah, blah, blah. But
Yeah, I think I might watch the draft because I think we've been staying up late to get the little man one good get one more feed in before putting him down for the night. But at least this year, the first round they're going to only give teams 8 minutes to make a pick instead of 10 minutes to make the draft go a little bit quicker.
I think
But
that's because there's no big names. Like, I think that's the problem. Like, legit, there is no great, like, there's no big game changers. Like you said, the it's a quarterback class of one, and even that, I don't think if he would have been in the last few drafts, I don't think he makes a huge difference. And if he would have been in next year's draft, I think he actually isn't even the number one.
no, I don't think Mendoza would either.
So
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of first round trades this year for teams, but basically for the teams picking sooner, seeing that, all right, I can get the same talent 5 picks back and maybe pick up some extra draft picks this draft. Yeah, yeah, I'll take that call of let somebody else come up and draft their guy that's not going to fall to them, and I'll pick up extra picks, and so I'm okay taking somebody else later in the draft that's going to get me similar value.
yeah, this draft. I do I want to hang out? Like, am I gonna watch it? Probably. Why? Because I want to hang out with the boys. Am I excited for it? Not really.
Mhm. So, perfect world draft board falls right. I don't have a person in mind for the Bears, but what position would you want them to grab up? With how they built the team in free agency, what position would you like that are what position are you hoping that they draft this year?
The problem is that position available? There is a deep wide receiver class, and I think the Bears can always use better wide receivers.
I think they're set at wide receiver. I think between Loveland, Loveland, Komet,
I think
Luther
they have a
Burden.
good wide receiving core, but I'm saying you could add again, not a sexy pick, but offensive line is always also a good pick for you for that, right?
It is.
Um, like it's either going to be an offensive team or it's got to be an offensive. It's got to be a lineman or I would say receiver. But again, I don't think this class is like exciting enough. I don't think there's anybody to move up for the Bears. So then we look at what would we do? What would we want? It like then it's. I think you just at this point I'm for the Bears this year. I am best on the table.
Okay, and I would agree with that. So asking Gemini, before I get into who Gemini thinks they should pick, two of these picks make no sense. Two of these reasons make no sense to me, but I'll go into them later. I think I would go with pass rusher. To where
Yeah, I suppose.
whether that comes as an edge outside linebacker or as a defensive end, I would say pass rusher
I suppose a
for a
pass
first round
rusher would
pick.
be a good spot for that.
Asking Gemini just the question of who should the Bears draft in the 26th draft. They didn't rank them at all, but they gave 4 players, Mike. They gave T.J. Parker, an edge from Clemson, which is probably he could be available in that range.
Yeah.
Mansour Delane from LSU, probably the top cornerback in the draft. They'd have to move up to get him. Kenyon Shadiq from Oregon, who's a tight end. Do the Bears need a third receiving tight end?
No.
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 And Spencer Fano from Utah, which would make sense. So 2 of the 3 make sense.
Yeah. I think, thinking about it now, I think cornerback actually sounds a lot like it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I could see corner, but if the board's right and you're drafting best player available in the bet, I would go with an edge rusher if you're drafting for need. If you're drafting for best player available, which I think they probably will, I think as long as that best player available isn't a wide receiver, I'm okay with whoever they pick. So I don't think that they need. If I don't know if they need a wide receiver, and I would be okay even if they traded out. If they traded down to a team that wants to move back into the first round or move up in the first round to get ahead of some teams.
Yeah, again, this draft does not look super exciting. I think you're just looking like. I think I would look mostly at best available for most people this year. So yeah, I think the Bears picking up I think a corner makes sense, but again, not to make things go crazy. So, with that, Rich, let's get into the top 10. As we got to talk about who we think is going to be picked. Number one overall, I think, is a done deal, and I think it's Mendoza.
Yeah, but you'll have to wait until 7:08 p.m. from when the Raiders go on the clock until to hear Fernando Mendoza's name. I don't see why the commissioner just can't come out, say his welcome speech of welcome, the draft is officially open, and with the first pick, the Oakland Raiders are taking Fernando Mendoza. The New York Jets are now on the clock. Start the show off like that. Why do we need to have 8 to 15 minutes of the draft pundits talking?
Because that's how they make money.
I know. I don't get it. I mean, the number one pick, you know who it's going to be. The team knows who it's going to be. If a trade is going to happen, it would have happened before the draft, not while they're on the clock.
We say that, but we've seen crazy last-minute draft trades happen. Like, there wasn't a real indication that it was going to happen, and then at the last minute it happens. Normally not number one overall, but we've seen it happen.
Oh, well. But I'm sure the Raiders draft card is unofficially turned in. It's just the commissioner is going to walk out and announce the pick until 3 or 4, until minute 2 or 1 of the Raiders being on the clock. That's when they'll ring it in. You'll get the little notification that says that the pick is in. But anywho, the New York Jets, this is where probably the draft actually starts. I'm gonna give them a safe pick. The Jets need a lot of things, so I'm gonna go with an edge rusher on the defensive side, and I'm gonna go David Bradley.
I don't think that's a bad pick, but I have him dropping a little bit. And again, because I think that it's best available, I think Arvell Reese is the next up as best. Like, I don't actually think Fernando Mendoza is the best pick of the draft. I think he will be the number one overall, because that's just where it's at. But I think after that, you go to top. I actually think Reese should be the number one pick overall. I think he's the best player on the board. So I have Reese going number one overall, or number 2 overall, because Mendoza is going to be picked number 1.
Okay. I put Reese to the Cardinals, although I think the Cardinals don't make this pick. But I think whoever picks number 3 will take Reese.
So again, I think I don't know how much trading up and down is going to happen, but I think Jeremiah Love is number 3 to the Cardinals.
All right. I don't see a fit with Jeremiah Love. I think I've seen articles talking how a lot of people in the building are saying let's draft Jeremiah Love, but they still have James Conner in the building. They signed Travis Algier. So they got a good running back tandem, but I think Love is a good enough talent that.
And again, maybe this is a trade. This is somebody trades up for him, and Love goes 3 overall. But I think he's the third. I think he's the second best of this draft class. And then my 4th overall is going to be Caleb Downs.
Okay, I have the Titans taking Love.
Okay, and I think that's actually a good spot. The Titans traditionally, though, do destroy their running backs by just putting the whole team on the running backs' back and saying, "Get us points." So,
Okay, with the Giants, I'm gonna go with Giants. I was kind of scratching my head on, but I'll go offensive line. I think they should go defense, but I just don't have a good defensive guy to give them in mind. And maybe they even go wide receiver here. But I'll go with Francis Maluga as I don't know. John Harbaugh teams usually have good offensive lines from his days in Baltimore, so I'll go Maluga.
yeah, I don't mind that pick. I think that's a decent one. Um, um, sorry, I just messed something up, didn't I?
So who are you giving the G-men then?
Yeah, I'm going with Sonny Styles.
Okay.
Again, Styles being a linebacker, I think he can do something for them. They need defense. That's where I think that's about the only thing I can come up with. Maybe you could go with Ruben Bain, which is who I have going to the Browns, picking up that edge rusher there. But so again, the Giants, either one of those positions are positions that would help them a bunch. And man, I don't know what's going to end up happening here. This is where I think the draft starts to get a little interesting because, again, people I think right now, because this isn't as exciting of a draft, this isn't as good of a draft class as we've seen the last few years. You pick the best overall in most of these spots. I'm going to leave it with Sonny Styles for the G-Men and the Browns pick up Bain.
Okay. I'm going to give the Browns Carnell Tate, probably the best wide receiver in this draft, I think. And the Browns wide receiving core is really thin. So whether it's going to be Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, if they draft Ty Simpson with their second first-round pick, you got to have somebody to throw the ball to.
How many quarterbacks are they allowed to have on staff?
On the active roster, I think
it's 3. You're allowed You're allowed starter, backup, and then I guess 3 plus an emergency.
3 plus an emergency, yeah. And so I mean, they don't want to cut ties with. Nobody's going to take Deshaun Watson, but they don't want to. If they're going to pay the guy, he's going to be on their roster, whether he's active or not.
Yeah.
All this hype is around that everybody is saying that Shedeur's the one Shedeur's in the facility working his butt off. The other 2 nowhere to be found.
Well, Deshaun doesn't care. He's getting paid. And probably paying women to be quieter this time. I don't know. That guy.
All right. Washington Commanders, I'm going to go with probably the best corner in the draft for them in Mansour Dulane.
Yeah, I have him a little lower. Also, this is where I have David Bailey. I think, again, another edge rusher. Just take what you need. Or take what's there. I think that's the better spot for him. But I have Deline going to the Saints. I think they need – I mean, again, the Saints are just broken too. They have a lot of needs. Again, which is the problem, and again, I'll go back to this. The Raiders need a quarterback, so they're taking the quarterback. Everybody else in the top 10, they seem so broken that they there are few spots, very few spots, where any of these teams have a guaranteed starter at every position. And if they have a guaranteed starter at every position, at some of these positions that we've already put them in, they don't have either a good backup, or some of the positions, like, you can have 2 edge starters. You can have 2, like, you need a couple different starting wide receivers, stuff like that, which is why I think the Jets, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, the Commanders, and the Saints all should be looking at next man up. Just take the best player at that point. None of these guys have real needs that are, I think they all have needs everywhere. The top or the bottom 2 through 8 are terrible. Take the next man up. That's why I have Delaney at 8, going to the Saints.
Okay. So I put Reuben Bain here. They need edge rusher with Bailey and Reese off the board. They take him. To the Chiefs, I'm going with Jamon McCoy. They don't have, but I think they should go offensive line or trade down and get more picks. But if they stay, I think you go corner here, because they traded away. They lost a corner in free agency, and they traded away their top corner to the Rams for a draft pick. So they need cornerbacks.
See,
but they also have a tendency to draft quarterbacks in later rounds and develop and coach them up.
Yeah, I think one of their biggest needs, and for me the biggest need for them, is a young wide receiver. What do they have for I wouldn't even say elite talent wide receiver, but what do you have for great wide receivers right now?
You got Rashee Rice, who can't seem to stay out of trouble. But I don't think of him as a number 1 guy, and Xavier Worthy, who was kind of inconsistent as a rookie last year.
Yeah.
But those are the types of players that you get when you're drafting in the bottom 5 of the draft year after year after year.
I think that's why they need to use their ability to get a guy and get Cardinal Tate.
Okay. And to wrap up the top 10, I'm going to give the Bengals Caleb Downs just as the best player available.
I'm going to go with Francis Managua.
Yeah, let's go with that. You're giving him an offensive line because you need to protect Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's fair.
With that, I don't know that I don't know that we've done a great job here, but
yeah. So for comparison, Mike, just asking Gemini,
yeah,
who would you a top 10 with no basis, with no reasoning behind any picks? They're going Fernando Mendoza to the Raiders, Arvil Reese to the Jets, David Bailey to the Cards, Jeremiah Love to the Titans. They're going to Francis Maluga to the Jets, to the G-Men.
Okay.
Monroe Freeling, an offensive tackle, to the Browns from the University of Georgia.
Okay.
The Commanders taking Delane. The Saints going with Caleb Downs. The Chiefs going with edge rusher Reuben Bain. And rounding out the top 10, the Bengals going with Jamon McCoy.
Okay.
So 1 quarterback, 3 edge rushers, 1 running back, 2 offensive linemen, 2 corners, and a safety.
Okay. I mean,
by Gemini.
Sure. Okay, Rich, with that, any other talk that you want to do before we get into our quick hits? And we only got esports, the esports and shout outs.
I don't. Not this week.
Okay. Esports, we won, leaving us undefeated in Marvel Rivals. We play the only other undefeated team Monday, and then
Ooh.
Tuesday, and we lost Tuesday for our second loss in Mario Kart. Again, it's one of the only undefeated teams in Mario Kart is the team we lost to. So, and then we, like I said, we play Iowa Falls this week on Monday, and then Tuesday I forget who we play, but it'll be fun. Yeah, with that, shout outs. This week's shout out, we already gave one for my 5-year-old, and then Matt Borchers turned 48 this week. Got to take him out. Matt Borchers participates in a lot of poll questions, participates in a lot of the other activities that we do on the show. So, been a member of our.
Did he go with us up to the Twins game?
He did not.
Okay.
He did not. But been a member of a lot of other things that we do. So, with that, Rich, let's go ahead and roll. Oh, wait. Before we do that, they are watching us on YouTube. They want to participate or they want to participate in our poll questions, or they want to just check out and join in the conversation. Where should they go?
Look us up on Fans of Balls and Sticks over on Facebook. That's where you can find the poll questions. You can leave us a comment or a question, and we can, if we catch it in time, we'll even bring it up on the show. Yeah, Mike, if they're listening to us here on YouTube, but they just want to listen to us on demand or when they have time and just want the audio, Mike, where can they find us?
You can find us anywhere where you find your poll questions, including Spotify, Apple Music, all the good spots. Check us out there. Rich, please, if you are watching us in any of the places, like, subscribe, post a comment, talk about how awesome we are. And with that, let's go ahead and roll the intro.
Broadcasting live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Balls and Sticks, the podcast, with your hosts, Mike and Rich.